So how do you come to the project then from your filming profession then?
Well, how did I come to the project? Actually, I bumped into Keith and I said, I think I said something like, "It's a long time since you did that first film. Shouldn't we do another film?" And he said, "Well, funnily enough, I've actually got this script here." And I think some time passed, but at some point he sent me the script, and I read it, and I thought it was incredible. I called him up and I said, "This is like Twist of the Wrist 2 on steroids." You know, I just like brought everything to life. I could see how it was going to look. So.
Man, this track riding is really hard work.
Yeah, I got a really bad forearm pump. I could hardly grip the front brake.
I was pretty excited about it, and we got together and then moved things forward and, you know, put the thing together.
And he's cursed himself almost every day
Yeah.
since that point, since he said, "We got to make a movie out of that."
Because we're here now in August of 2009, and you started this in 2008, summer of 2008, right?
Well, the first time we spoke about it was more like 2006.
I think that's when we first, had the conversation.
But it actually didn't come together until June of 08. It was when we started the actual shooting.
So this is kind of like trying to get Phantom Menace off the ground. This took some doing and some thinking and some time then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in fact, the shoot was 3 weeks in June, but we'd actually been out shooting tests probably from the beginning of the year, because we really wanted to figure out how we were going to get the shots and what was going to work for us, and what didn't work. So we didn't want to just jump into it. So we were out at Willow Springs shooting tests. I think we shot a test in January even.
So Matt, then your task is to, of course, you have the book at your hands. You've come up with a script that you've looked over this, and your task is to try and put all this into what in movie vernacular would be a screenplay of some sort, and getting it into movie form.
Right. Well, obviously Keith created the script, so our job was to break it down into the most efficient way to shoot it. And as I said, the first thing that I was really concerned about was the onboard shots, because obviously, the scenes that we have with our actors interacting and stuff, that's traditional filmmaking, and our director has a lot of experience with that. And
Being tied on the bike can start little slides before you get anywhere near the limits of traction.
Really? It's not the time?
I knew that was going to go fine. What I was concerned about was, and obviously Keith was as well, was how we were going to get these shots. And we tried a number of different things that are pieces of equipment, camera cars and things like that are traditionally used in making Hollywood films, and it wasn't always what we actually needed.
Yeah, we tried a bunch of traditional stuff, the other camera rigs,
Yeah,
even mounted on motorcycles that have been used for
Yeah, exactly.
ads.
Every person who has a fast camera car in Hollywood will tell you that his car can keep up with a motorcycle, which
Go-kart.
Yeah, I knew wasn't the case, and I said to them, okay, well, we said one guy will come out and prove it, So we did actually use a camera car for some of the shots, but in the end we had to develop our own lightweight rigging
And put it on a motorcycle.
and put it on the motorcycle, and we had to, all the shots are pretty much bike to bike for the on-track shots, and that's what worked for us.
This all makes the bike more unstable, and it runs wide in the corner.
So even the go-kart, even a go-kart rig just couldn't hang.
The go-kart rig does work in certain situations. In certain speed terms, it can hang with a motorcycle. But we had a chat with. We actually went up to a set where they were using the go-kart, and we had a chat with a motorcycle rider, a guy you knew pretty well, actually. And
Britt Turkington.
And we said, okay, can this thing keep up with you? And he's like, oh no, I was completely having to throttle off in turn 2. So we're like, okay, well, now we know, So.
Yeah, we noticed in one shot where you have the camera is obviously on some sort of tripod on the tail of the bike, and it's looking down at the top of the rider's head who's on the bike that it's on, following another bike. And, that's up there at the end of a fulcrum,
Yeah.
And that must have been somewhat challenging.
Well, yeah, it was in a way. The rigging was, we had to strut the bike and do all kinds of things. Our mechanic, Will Eikenberry, is a master fabricator, and he was the one who put most of the rigging together. And fortunately, the technology had really pretty much just cracked out onto the streets of the Ice Cube cams, the 3CCD high-def cams. So we started off with a camera about that big, and then the problem was the record decks, which a year and a half ago were that big. Now they're this big, right? But we had to deal with that weight. But it was still way better than the first Twist of the Wrist video shot back in 1985, where we had a baited deck that was this big. You know, and weighed 35 or 40 pounds, so it was much better. But yeah, we had to pioneer a lot of stuff for the shots, and you can see some of the other shots which are off to either side of the bike.
Right.
So some of the front shots are nice high and down shots as well, and I don't think those shots have ever been done before. But it was perfect for what we wanted, and that's all. We weren't trying to be creative, except for the fact that we wanted to show what it was. And not just the same old camera angles don't get it. You know, you can follow a bike around the track, but if it's not the right angle, then you don't see what you want to see. So that was the challenge for sure on all that on-bike rigging, and but it worked.
Right.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.